Have you ever just looked at a common garden flower and felt, I don't know, like there was something more to it? A hidden message, maybe? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that, a really profound invitation to transformation, and it's found in a flower you might see every single day.
So meet the butterfly pentas. It's cheerful, it's generous, and pollinators absolutely love it. But beyond its pretty, vibrant clusters of flowers, there's a powerful story here. It's a story about grace, about resilience, and about community. And it all starts with a very simple question.
And as we're about to see, the penta offers a really beautiful and surprisingly deep answer to that. It's not about finding some sort of magic in its petals, but it's about recognizing these profound spiritual principles that are mirrored all around us in nature.
Okay, so let's get formally introduced. This is the Pentas lanceolata, a plant that's originally from Africa. Now, gardeners love it for these dense clusters of small star-shaped flowers. They're just a bright spot in any garden, for sure. But their real beauty? Oh, that's hidden in the details.
You know, it's funny. Every single part of this plant seems to preach its own little quiet sermon, starting right with its name. So let's break that down and see the first layer of meaning. So its name, pentas, it comes directly from the Greek word for five. Why? Well, because if you look really closely, you'll see that each tiny flower that makes up that big cluster is a perfect little five-pointed star.
And then there's the second part of its name, lanceola. Now that points us to the leaves. They're shaped like the head of a lance or a spear. And this gives us our first clue about the plant's true character, this kind of hidden strength and resilience that's supporting all that delicate beauty.
And that number 5, this is where it gets really interesting. It carries a much deeper meaning. In a lot of scriptural traditions, the number 5 is a symbol of grace. So the very structure of the flower seems to be whispering this message about divine favor and kindness.
So when you put it all together, the flower's entire form becomes symbolic. You've got the star-shaped blooms suggesting promise and guidance, and right below them, the lance-shaped leaves speaking of the strength you need to support that beauty.
Now this symbolism, it just keeps building as we move from the flower's form to its function. Because the pentas isn't just beautiful, it's a vital part of its whole ecosystem. It has a job to do. This flower is just incredibly generous. I mean, it is packed with nectar, which makes it a favorite stop for butterflies and bees and hummingbirds. It doesn't just sit there looking pretty, it actively offers nourishment. It literally creates a space where winged life can come to rest and just be sustained. And this might be its most instructive quality. While other plants are wilting and fading in the intense summer heat, the pentas, it thrives. It doesn't pull back when things get tough. It stands steady, offering its nectar freely, blooming when others have just given up.
This brings us to a really pivotal idea. We can spend our whole lives chasing after these moments of beauty or transformation, or we can focus on cultivating the inner qualities, the grace, the resilience, the generosity that naturally attract them in the first place.
See how that works? The metaphor is so simple, but it's profound. Just like the pentas offers nectar, a life that's saturated with grace becomes a place of nourishment for others. We don't have to force transformation in people, we just need to provide the nectar that allows it to happen.
Okay, so now let's weave all these threads together to see the bigger picture. It's this beautiful constellation of meaning about how we grow, how we connect, and how we live out our faith.
So here's the core metaphor, the butterfly. It's a classic symbol of transformation, right? The Panna Christa doesn't create the butterfly, but it provides a landing place, and it feeds it. And our role? Well, it's the same. We can't force spiritual change in others, but we can offer the encouragement, the truth, and the grace that sustains what God is already doing in their lives.
And we don't do this alone. A pentas bloom isn't just one solitary flower. It's a dense cluster of tiny little stars. Each one is small on its own, but together they create this absolutely radiant display. It's a perfect picture of community. Individually, we're small, but collectively, we shine.
And if that wasn't enough, the symbolism even extends to its colors, which kind of read like a living palette of spiritual qualities. You've got red for passion and love, pink for joy and gratitude, white for purity and peace, and then lavender for serenity and that quiet kind of strength.
And finally, there's the light. Pentas need full sun to produce their most abundant blooms. The light doesn't weaken them, it strengthens them. Spiritually, what that suggests is that standing in the light of truth, even when it feels intense, is what produces the most beautiful growth in our own lives.
So, this little flower, it's quietly asking us to look at our own lives. It's inviting us to turn all these observations into some really personal questions.
So first, we can ask ourselves, what is my life attracting? Am I offering a place of rest and nourishment for people who are weary, or maybe in the middle of their own transformation?
And second, we can think about our own resilience. Does our faith and our kindness and our hope, does it only show up when life is easy? Or can we continue to offer grace even when the heat is on? And finally, are we living in isolation or as part of something bigger? Are we contributing our own small star to a radiant, collective constellation of faith and community?
And maybe this is the most beautiful conclusion of all. The pentanza isn't trying to be amazing. It isn't straining or striving. Its impact comes from its simple, faithful existence. It just does what it was made to do. Stay rooted, stand in the light, and offer what it has, freely.
So, what can we take away from this humble garden flower? Maybe it's this simple invitation. Live rooted, shine together, offer sweetness, trust the light. It's a call to live a life of quiet, resilient, and generous beauty.